Hey there, welcome to the Focus Podcast with Taralee. This is the place where we talk about real life, real relationships, and how to grow through it all. If you're looking for simple mindset shifts, better communication, and deeper connections, you're in the right spot. Let's dive in. Welcome to the very first episode of the Focus Podcast with Taralee. I'm your host, Taralee Eddington. I am so excited to be here with you today. This podcast is about focus because what you focus on expands. This is something that my father used to always say, and it's shaped so much of my life in my parenting and in my coaching business. And I have brought it with me as I work with families. And so today I wanted to talk about something that weighs heavily on so many parents' hearts. That is our relationship with our teenagers. Maybe you're feeling like your teen is slipping away or shutting down or pushing you away. Maybe every conversation that you have with them turns into an argument or defensiveness, something like that. But maybe you just miss the days that they want to spend time with you and wanted to be with you. If that's you, I want you to know that you're not alone. The good news is that your relationship with your teen is not beyond repair, and small shifts that I can teach you can bring big, huge changes. So the first thing I want to talk about is why I am so passionate about this work. Over the years that I've worked with parents who have felt lost and they've tried everything and nothing that they do seems to work. And they want to connect with their teens, but they don't know how. And I get it. Maybe you're thinking, I never imagined that my life and my relationship with my child would be like this. But we all start off our parenting journey thinking that there's so much hope and so much love, and we love this little person as much as we possibly can and didn't even imagine that we could love them anymore. But somewhere along the way, it feels like maybe things started to unravel. And I've seen this both as a coach and as a parent. But parents aren't failing, and teenagers aren't just difficult or defiant or I know it's a different day and age with teens, but teenagers aren't the problem. We're not the problem. Our parenting is not the problem. The real problem is that no one teaches us how to navigate this stage of parenting. I created Peaceful Heart Journey, my coaching program, especially the strengthening parents and teen relationships, because I want to help parents rebuild the trust and open communication and truly reconnect with their teenager. When we approach our teens with understanding and compassion instead of control, with curiosity and openness instead of frustration, everything can change. So I know how painful that disconnection can feel. I've been there. I have 3 children of my own. Their ages right now are 24, 20, and 18. And a few years ago, I was in a really tough spot with one of my own teenagers. And every conversation we had felt like it was a battle. And we were constantly butting heads. It was awful. But one night after a really heated argument, I sat in my room and I just thought, how did we get here? How did it become this? And I realized that something had to change, and I started paying more attention to what was actually happening, and not just the emotions in the moment, but the patterns underneath. And I started to listen more than I spoke, and I slowly saw that things began to change and shift, and it wasn't overnight, but our relationship became stronger than ever. And that's when I developed this focus framework that I'm going to teach you about today. It's my 5-step approach to transforming parent-teen relationships and really any relationship that you have. In this podcast, we'll dive into strategies and tools and mindsets that can help you build a more connected relationship with your teen. And at the core of everything we do is this focus framework here at Peaceful Heart Journey. And you can learn more about it on my website, peacefulheartjourney.com. And I want to introduce you really quickly here to it, though. So each letter in the word focus represents a step in how we process experiences and shape our own reality. So F is for facts first, We need to identify the neutral facts about the situation, what the circumstance is, and what is happening. And then we move on to O, own our thoughts. Recognize how those thoughts interpret the facts. And then we can move on to C, choose our feelings and understand how our thoughts are creating the emotions that we're feeling. And then U stands for understand our actions. See how our emotions drive our behaviors and how we act, how we show up in that situation. And then S is for shape our results. Realize how our actions create our results or our reality. So facts first, own your thoughts, choose your feelings, understand your actions, and shape your results. Okay, so each week we'll explore how these steps can make a massive difference in your parenting journey and in your relationship with others. I will share real life experiences that I've had and others that I've coached and answer your questions to help you create lasting change for yourself. And together we'll focus on what works and we'll expand on that and create more understanding and connection and trust between you and your teenager. So let's talk about this idea of what you focus on expands in parenting. So it's really easy to get stuck on focusing on everything that's wrong. The back talk, the silence, the messy room, the bad grades, the attitude. And the attitude, I know very well what the attitude is. I remember the attitude. But when we put all of our energy into fixing what's wrong, and that's what we're focusing on, that's where our struggle actually really grows. So here's a challenge for you. Instead of looking for and focusing on the things that are wrong, start looking for the moments of connection that already exist with your teenager. So think about this. When does your teen seem most relaxed around you? When do they actually want to engage in conversation, even if it's just a little bit? I know for my own kids, it's usually late at night when I'm getting ready for bed and getting ready to crawl into bed and I'm tired and I'm exhausted. That's when they seem the most chattiest. That's when they want to come in and tell me about their day, and I'm exhausted, but I've learned that these are the times that they're really open and want to chat and want to open up. And that's when I need to be there for them, and I need to lean into that. And I have really learned to love those moments with them and kind of come to expect it at night. When I'm getting ready for bed, I know that they'll show up and that's when they all want to talk, and I love it. So think about some of the things with your own teen. What makes them light up? It might be when they're watching their favorite show that they love, or when they're snacking late at night in the kitchen. It's usually late at night, it seems like, with teenagers, but it might be in the car when there's no pressure to talk. Those are the moments that you need to lean into. So instead of trying to force a deep conversation at the dinner table, what if you just sat down next to them while they're watching their favorite show and made an offhand comment about it or something? Or what if you started with something small, like just being present with them? When you focus on the moments that already work, these are the moments that will grow, and your focus and connection can expand. I want to touch on a few common struggles that I've seen with parents and with their teenagers, and how we can shift this with them. So one of them is the why don't they want to talk to me trap. Okay, we assume our teenagers don't want to talk to us, but often they just don't feel safe enough to open up. Instead of asking why won't they talk to me, ask when do they seem most comfortable sharing. Focus on creating low pressure, judgment-free moments. In my family, we have what we call the free zone, which is around the campfire. It started years ago. We were camping, and it just kind of came to be one night, and we decided that anything they told us around the campfire was the safe zone, free from judgment, free from punishment. It was usually when some of the craziest and most hilarious stories would come up. This is one night I remember years ago. This is where I learned that one of my kids tried to take the car when they were like 12 or 13 with one of their friends, but couldn't figure out how to get the gear out, get it out of park. They didn't know they had to press on the brake to get it out of gear. And it's kind of funny because this is my child that was a strict rule follower and did not ever do anything outside of the rules. And so it was kind of funny and something that we kind of laughed about now. But it since we were around the campfire, there was no judgment, there was no punishment. But I mean, it had been 6 years prior, so it wasn't like I could do anything anyway at that point. But anyway, the free zone around the campfire turned into kind of a fun family inside joke. So even now, years later, my kids are young adults now and whatever, and say one of them, like, I don't know, breaks a dish or something like that. And, they'll come to me and say, I want to tell you something, but I think I'm going to wait till we're around the campfire. And it's kind of a funny thing now because, no punishment or whatever, it's just kind of a joke. So anyway, focus on creating free zones, like low pressure, non-judgment times that they can come to you and you'll just listen. Another common struggle that I see in parents and teens is the I have to fix this now mentality. Often when we see our teens struggling, our first instinct is to jump in and fix it or give advice or step in. And, we're wanting to be we're wanting to help, but they just want to be seen or heard. Sometimes they don't want us to fix it. They just want us to listen. So instead of offering solutions, try saying something like, wow, that sounds really hard. What are you going to do about it? Or I'm here if you need to talk. Let me know if you need my help. So that's it. Just step back, step out of their way, let them figure it out and see how some of these shifts change. I think they'll come to you more often when you're not trying to jump in and fix it for them. The next thing is focusing on what's wrong instead of what's working. We talked a little bit about this before when all we talk about is when they didn't clean their room or they left their shoes by the front door or they didn't answer their phone when you tried calling them. If we're only focusing on these things, we miss the good. We miss the things that they do right. So try catching them in something that they have done right, even if it's small, like, hey, I noticed you were really kind to your sister earlier. Thank you for doing that. That was really kind. If we focus on the positive, that's what will expand. So let's jump into the first step in the focus framework, facts first. So I want you to do, I have a challenge for you. So I want you this week, during a challenging situation with your teen, and I know they'll come up because it always seems to happen, pause for a moment and separate the facts from your emotions. Instead of thinking, why are they being so disrespectful? Try reframing it with things, with facts, like they raised their voice and said something hurtful. That's a fact, right? Instead of jumping to what we think is going on, here's an example. A few years ago, my own teen had a moment where she was like really frustrated and had come home from school and just snapped at me. Instead of like reacting like I wanted to, I paused and asked myself, like, what's really going on here? And I realized that it wasn't even about me. It was about her own stress. And once I identified that and took my own emotion out of it, I was able to respond with empathy and the situation calmed down quickly and recognized that they're still learning to regulate their own emotions, and just like we are, but we need to learn to model that for them and to teach them. So now that you have the first strategy, facts first, to start shifting your approach, here's a key takeaway I want you to have for today. Remember that it's not about eliminating frustration or emotion. It's about taking a step back and focusing on the facts of the situation. Once you separate those facts from your feelings, you create a space where you can respond with empathy instead of reacting out of frustration. And that's where real connection begins to grow. As we move into this next challenge that I'll have for you this week, keep in mind that just small shifts can lead to really big changes in your relationship. Pay attention to those moments with openness with your teen, and no matter how small, you'll see that a deeper connection can start to grow, and to focus on what's working instead of what's not working and the problems and the issues, and the moments will grow that are working. So your challenge for this week is to pay attention to those moments, the moments that they're open just even a little bit. And instead of trying to force the connection, lean into what's already there, what already exists, and what those little moments are. And remember, what you focus on expands. And if you focus on disconnection, you'll feel more disconnected. But if you focus on even the smallest moments of connection, those are what will grow. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope this episode gave you something to think about. If it resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the Focus Podcast and share it with your friends, because we're just getting started. I plan to release a new episode every Friday, and I have lots of exciting things in upcoming episodes to share with you. So if you are ready to take the next step in strengthening your relationship with your teen and want to check out my program, Strengthening Parent and Teen Relationships, you can find all the details and book a free consultation to see if it would be a good fit for you at peacefulheartjourney.com, and I will link it in the show comments. If you found this episode helpful, I'd be so grateful if you could share it and leave a review, because it helps others find the podcast. So remember, what you focus on expands, and I hope that you will choose wisely. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Focus Podcast. If something stood out or helped you in some way, feel free to share it or leave a quick review. It means a lot. Keep showing up, keep growing, and I'll catch you in the next episode.